Good morning. Morning, chat. Internet's good. Pretty pog. Neptune, thank you for the 32 months. Oy, oy, oy. Thank you for the 32. I appreciate you. Chat, you kind of scare me. I can't lie. You kind of spooking me out. Everyone's like, you should stay asleep. That's a bit rude. Bit rude. Good morning. Good morning, Tetra. Hey, I don't really know. Hey, Rich, Charo, good to see you. Monroe, Neptune, Cole. Hello, hello. Natasha, good to see you. Hey, Mittens.
Your name Rhodes.
Thank you for the 5 months.
Drive on. Haha, beep beep. Haha.
Beep, beep. Thank you, Pat. I am loading into the server, but I didn't want to leave you guys in an 8-minute song. I feel like you guys are worrying me that I'm going to need like 8 cups of tea today or something. Hey, Ida. Everything's fine. You're not convincing me, guys, I'll be honest. The war's over. The war is over, guys. Right? Even I don't believe it. I've just been seeing shit on the Notebooks of Discord about fucking prison and stuff, and I'm like, oh god. Oh god, it's never over. Right, can I spawn in ICU? How does this work? I haven't done this for a long time, which is surprising for me. I'm gonna try and spawn in my apartment and see if it takes me there. End of time. Okay, I'm not in the ICU. Well, that's not great. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Run there? Do I have a hospital outfit? I normally do this off stream. Here, you guys can see. Actually, no, I don't want to break the illusion of everything being perfect. Oh, here we go. I got one for you guys. I need to put something away. Yes, should I go now? Should I stay or should I go now? How do I get to the hospital? Fuck! I have to quit the game and... Actually, no, I don't have to quit the game. Hey, Raimundo. Dev menu. Yeah, I'm definitely a dev. Smile. How we won the war. Right, I think I've got to do one of these. And then spawn the... the irony. Got to spawn at the Cody Sharp Memorial Park bus stop. Okay, you know what? You guys can see. You guys can see behind the curtain, okay? You're allowed. Don't look. Close your eyes. Ding, 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 bim, 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 bam. Is there like a secret way in? No god mode during the war. No, we got fucking blown up in a helicopter, dude. It was great. You know what? Doc's just been out on a stroll. It's all. It's all. Stroll on the south side, yeah. We might be able to sneak upstairs. Oh, shit. Don't wanna... Hey, dog. I'll leave you to it. I think we were in like this room over here. You guys didn't miss much in that stream, by the way. At the end of that stream, nothing happened. Literally, we got scooped up like 2 minutes after I ended the stream, and then came straight to the hospital, straight to ICU. We went into surgery for a bit, but it was nothing crazy. Aimed by Darks, and it's honestly true. We did a 3-on-1. I don't know whether it's a 3-on-1 or... Wait. Doctor? You know what? I'm just gonna call Dia. Nope. How fucked is Dark? I'll be honest. I wanted to leave the injuries. I think Dark's body's pretty fucked already. So Dark came in having nearly drowned and had a massive piece of shrapnel and some small pieces in his abdomen. So there was a bit of internal bleeding, but surgery went well. The one lung is fucked. But I wanted to leave injury RP to other people because we've done a lot. I don't know what's going to happen to Stubble, for example. Doc is only just getting out of the ICU today. But that doesn't mean Dark's not fucked. That does not mean Dark is not fucked. Any doctors around? Let's see. Where Dark went down, Dark went down in the helicopter. So Dark flew a helicopter with Reeds and Mountain. Big saucy in this pussy. Jackie, thank you for the 29 months. I appreciate you. But yeah, we flew a helicopter and it was pretty fucking cool, I've got to add. It was pretty cool. It's a cool way to go out. We flew a helicopter over top of the mansion and we were raining boom 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 big guns. I know guns. Yeah. I can't even tell you what helicopter it was. Was it a Black Hawk? I think it was a Black Hawk. Will somebody find us in this room? How long? You know what? I'm starting a timer. We'll see how long we're in this room before a doctor comes to check us out. There was gonna be The only things I know OC about what's been happening is that there's a shit ton of people in prison and it's not going great. Can doctors read 301s? No, but there's enough EMS on duty. And police, I would assume. Oh, there's no doctors at the moment. Oh, there we go. I know there's been a shit ton of shit going on in prison, which is great. And then the only other thing I know is that we were gonna have a panel, a high command panel for some shit. For some people, like 3 people or something. But obviously, Stubble's in ICU. Dark's in ICU. Was in ICU. Toretti was busy playing World of Warcraft. Something else. I can't remember what else. Basically, didn't end up happening. It wasn't a panel. It was a discussion about a panel. It's been delayed, so we might be able to catch it. But thankfully, I know nothing about it. Well, guess we could check out Nancy. Yeah, quick reminder, I've been I haven't been anti-Reddit. For my own mental, I've been off Reddit for like months. So I don't know anything. And I don't read meta chats. Unless I go in there to tell people something. But then at that point, I read like a message above and that's it, and try and hide my eyes to anything else. Trooper Dark, no, this is just Matt's. In actually, I got a discharge. You know, right? Yeah. Thank you. Is it? I'm going to do a quick note. The doctors, because I don't want the doctors to have someone in ICU and not have it on paper anywhere. So let's do a quick note. Doctors. Discharge papers. Richard Dark. I don't know what day we entered in. What day was the war? What's the date of the war? Dark would know, but I'm stupid. Was it? It was Monday? Was it the 28th? It was the 28th. ICU 28th of, yeah, thanks chat. 2023 to 03rd 09 2023. Discharged by Nancy. There's no doctors. Present. Oh, I think I can hear somebody. Mostly recovered. Check-ins. Really. Limit. Okay, I'm gonna drop this here. I don't think I've ever dropped a note before. Oh, it's the doctor at the hospital. I don't know who that is. I guess I'll go back upstairs. Hello. Hey. Hey.
There he
Oh.
is.
Hey, Doc. So I was just
Hey.
just charging with Nancy downstairs, but I mean, if you're here,
Are you like officially discharged?
uh,
You want me to take your state ID and run it by Dirk?
yeah, that's a good idea. My state ID's 2154.
2154. All right, give me a second.
Hey, Daisy,
How are you
thanks.
feeling?
You know, I've been better, but for the most part, they could be in a couple extra days to rest up. So, yeah. But how's everything? How's things?
A lot of people are not very happy. Rust is basically waging their own war. You know how you did everything against Seaside
Yeah.
and that whole thing? Yeah, Madison and Libby are doing it all against Rust now.
Fantastic. We'll catch up
So
after
you were
this.
checked in for an overnight stay, so you weren't really. I think most of the people in the bar were. So you should be
Oh, I
good to go.
see. Okay. All right. Well, that's fantastic. They did say that I should probably come in for some check-ins every now and then.
Yeah.
What's the best thing to do for that?
Let me see. What was it? Internal bleeding? That's what I'm reading in the report.
Yeah.
You feeling it? You want to have a seat? I'll just have a look at you real quick.
Sure.
All right. Any pain, discomfort, anything like that?
I mean, yeah, there's still a bit of pain.
Okay. Is it all in the stomach?
Maybe it's kind of all over, but yeah, stomach's pretty bad.
All right. Is it like is it like a striking pain, or is it like kind of a low continuous one?
Yeah, it's throbbing every now and then.
Okay.
Kind of when I walk around.
All right. You're not feeling any fever or anything like that?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. If you get symptoms of any fever like that, you should probably head back in, okay?
Okay.
Signs of an infection. Aside from that, I don't think there's not a ton we can do about the pain right now. You're gonna have to bear through it. But
Yeah, that's fine.
obviously if it gets worse, if you feel like kind of more like a stinging pain or anything that would kind of indicate that the stitches have gone up, you're bleeding, or if you feel blood in your mouth, anything like that, you need to head back in, okay? But
Yeah.
all right, let me just check. Stitches look fine. Should probably hold all the way through.
Fantastic.
Might want to check in a few days, just to get the stitches removed.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Unless you want them there forever, I would not suggest that.
That's an
It's
option.
just gonna turn into a mean giant scar.
Okay. All right. I'll think about it.
Think about it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll keep it around. I spoke to a doctor a while back about getting like an eye replacement. Is that still offered at the hospital?
Let me
I
see
don't know
here.
whether it was a replacement or a prosthetic or what, but
Why don't you have a look at this?
what am I looking at now? He's okay. That's an eyeball.
I gave it to you.
Yeah,
Neuralink optics.
that seems pretty high tech, Doc.
It is. Obviously, it'd be a bit more of an experimental surgery, but there's not a lot we can do about replacing eyes, about putting a glass one in, you know? You'd still be blind in your left eye, but we could probably have a look at something like that.
I mean, does my insurance cover that?
Were you injured in the line of duty?
I was injured on the island, but not
Yeah,
the
but when you
island.
lost your eye.
No, maybe.
Okay.
No, I think so.
All right. I'm willing to bet it's probably covered by your insurance.
Okay. Well,
But for the moment, yeah.
What's the process on that? Like, how do we go about doing that?
Well, depends. Do you still have your eye in?
Like, is my eye still there?
Yeah.
No, I think they
Or is it
removed
completely
it.
gone? All right.
Yeah.
Probably go in for an inspection at some point. Make sure you don't have like a massive bunch of lesions and scarring around that area. And if you don't, we could probably work something out. But I'd say for the moment, your body has gone through a lot of trauma. So making a surgery like that right now would be pretty high risk.
Okay.
I would put my money on that you would need to fully recover before we consider anything like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Well, thank you. I'll be back to get that sorted out. I'm pretty sick of this iPad.
Yeah, you look like a pirate.
Yeah. I think I've been on enough ships now, and I don't want it anymore.
I get it. Anyways, I'm going to be honest, there's not a ton of details issued in your report. Let me double check. I'm just going to make sure it's nothing else.
I imagine it was a pretty busy night.
A lot of overnight stays.
Yeah. Anybody still in?
I think Stubble is
There's
still in ICU, and a lot of other people that I don't even know.
Yeah, there's a whole list in the ICU sheet.
Okay.
I think when I talked to Erin, she told me that there were 20 or more people on the ICU.
Anybody not looking too good? Or is everybody just recovering?
For the moment, I think most of them are just recovering.
Okay, that's good.
I know Hannaford ain't holding up too good. But
There
that's
were a
pretty
few
much all I
people that
know.
Are very not good.
All right. Well,
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to check you out, but I'd say in at least 3 days, come back, have someone look at those stitches, okay?
3 days. Got it.
Aside from that, you feel fever, nausea, blood
Pain.
taste in your
Yeah,
mouth,
come back.
red shot
got it.
eyes, blood from your ears, blood from your eyes, blood in your stool.
Anywhere blood's not
Yeah, any
supposed to
blood.
be. Yeah. I got
Probably,
it.
yeah. You should probably get that checked out.
All right, well,
Fingertips too.
You
know, nail bed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Doc.
Obviously around the stitched area.
Mm-hmm. Just blood
Or from your,
outside
your
my body.
penis.
Am I good? Am I good to go?
Yeah, you should be good to go.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
But the smallest thing, Dark, you check in with us, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I will.
All right.
Next up.
Godspeed.
Sorry.
Okay. What floor are you going to, Dark?
Oh. Probably should have told you that first, huh? I'm on the ground floor, Daisy. Sorry. Oh,
Yeah, I had to pull my car around to the front.
Okay.
So, what kind of news do you want first?
No. How's Matt and Flop? Are those guys all right? No, they didn't go over, but
Flop is fine. I've not seen Rhodes in a few days, but our times just haven't matched up.
okay.
Flop is mainly just being a crackhead and staying awake far too late. But that's just kind of how Flop is.
Yeah. How many did we? How many didn't come back?
3 for us, 2 for them so far.
Okay.
And the last I heard, at bare minimum paperwork-wise, we don't know where Moosebeard is.
What do you mean we don't know where he is?
I have been told from one officer that Moosebeard was found and he was in the ICU because they checked with the doctors and that was what the doctor said. And then another doctor told another officer that Moosebeard is not in the ICU and is still missing. That was the last information that I had a couple of days ago. So I do not know if Moosebeard has been found or not.
Okay.
From our side was Lucy Snow, Bobby Boulderman, and Kevin.
Kevin had only been back like what, a month?
Yeah, not very long. From their side, a guy named Lane that was part of the Mayhem, and I believe Judge Ingle Dan was the one listed.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Where is everybody?
There are not a lot of people on duty. There are only 10 units.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It looks like Luka Kozlov is finally out of the ICU, and he has been in the ICU until today, I believe.
Okay.
There's some worse things.
Fringo, got another report about you.
Worse depending on who you are and how you look at it.
What?
I gave Grayson a call to let him know that Kevin had passed away. And Grayson was very upset and agitated about a lot of things. He had been told by multiple people, and then he relayed to me. So don't take it as fact coming from me. It's truly third-hand information. but that there were last-minute negotiations to try to end the fight at the very end, and under the guise of EMS going in to treat people, EMS was sent in with a bomb. I talked to Snow about it, and I believe he was going to talk to other people involved, but all I had was what Grayson had told me.
Let's get this right. There was negotiations at the end of the fighting to stop, and then instead of how did the EMS get a bomb?
Your guess is as good as mine. I have no clue.
Oh wait, and the EMS was sent from them, like to come talk to
No.
us?
From our side to them with a bomb.
I don't understand.
Me either. I was telling a friend that a fellow old friend had passed and then got hit with the we sent EMS in with a bombshell, so.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if the prisoner list has been updated or not.
What happened to the EMS?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Is I had told Hayes about the bomb, and she mentioned to me that if she was me, then I wouldn't place like all of the blame on EMS for that. So something happened beforehand, but I have no clue what. Justice, like Axel Justice, released an after-action report, I believe, last night. But
Okay.
I've not had the chance to read it.
All right. What was the? I guess what was the outcome of the whole island thing?
From what I've heard, the island was completely bombed, and there are approximately 50 prisoners from Sanguine Island at Bolingbrook now.
What, are they all in for treason?
Yes.
Great.
And from the looks of the DOJ channel, there was some back and forth about one prisoner. I'm not sure what happened with them. Aaron Carter told me that a lot of the like lists of people in the ICU and prisoners kind of fell on her, so she would probably have most information.
Is it Aaron Carter?
Yeah.
Right. All right. Anything else?
From the war stuff, nothing that I know of. From General Patrol, basically just Rust is getting sea-sided. Any kind of boost or 37 Alpha where they're involved, it is immediately turned into a 78's call with Air 1, and they're not getting any time off.
How did that start?
I think the kind of tipping point was a few days ago. I got on duty, and it turned out to be in the middle of a shootout for an S+ boost. It was not very long until me and Barrick were the only people left standing. They fixed the Lamborghini that had been disabled from being shot at after they had started an ambush. The Lambo and 2 other vehicles, bare minimum, went east on Olympic Freeway. We waited a couple of minutes. They were completely out. They were all gone. And me and Barrick started to try to collect the bodies and transport them to an easier spot for EMS. And on the second trip to start grabbing bodies, Barrick landed the helicopter to grab a couple officers, and he got drive-by'd by Rust after they had already left the scene. And then I was trying to collect an officer that had stopped breathing and was extremely critical. And then they tried to gun me down on the freeway. And at that time, I was the only officer still standing. So I called them, and they said, if you don't collect any evidence or no warrants, then we'll stop shooting. And since it was me against at least 3, maybe 4 of them, I said, sure, deal. All the officers made it out of that fine. And then I believe it was the next day, there was a 37 Alpha. Their car was flipped, disabled. They were shooting from the car. It turned into a massive hour-and-a-half plus shootout at the Daily Globe, where one of the Rust members decided to say fuck it, go through all of the kill barriers while EMS was already on scene treating officers. And now he is in prison for 3 years for disrupting medical neutrality. And at this point, we had consistently waited to try to call the scene code 4. Once again, they had gotten their meth car, which was what I would deem their primary objective, left the scene, and then decided to come back 10 minutes later and continue shooting.
Okay. It sounds like PD's having a rough time then.
Yeah. There are some people with massive amounts of PTSD from the war. Juno Sweeney, I think, is having a rough time. Han Velsing is also having a hard time. I had to get on duty during NA to help find him because after Grayson had dropped the bombshell about EMS and everything, Hayes told me that there were only 4 of them looking for Han when he had disappeared. They found him a few hours later, so as far as I know, he is safe now. I believe Casterman is at Parsons, if I remember right. So it's not a very good time right now for the PD.
Well, it says like I got a lot of catching up to do, so.
Yeah. I wish I had more information, but I am not the one that is going to have all of your answers.
No, I appreciate it nonetheless. I think I'm probably going to be stuck in the office today, but I appreciate you picking me up and helping me out. So
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go get a cup of tea, and I guess I'll get to reading, because there's probably a lot to catch up on. You said Axel posted a after action report?
Yeah, I glanced over it. It's not very long. I believe it's about 2 pages long, but he posted an after action thing about it all.
Okay. All right, I'll have a look. Well, thank you, Daisy. Obviously, if you need anything, just give me a call.
Yeah, same thing with you. I'll leave this door unlocked so you can move around.
Sanguine Island military police action after incident report. On August 28th, 2023, the state of San Andreas launched a force seeking to establish stability and control of Sanguine Island. That operation was largely successful despite the presence of casualties on both sides. The state of San Andreas air forces faced oppression from Russian interference in the skies, including MiG stealth bombers and stealth annihilator helicopters. The waters were contested by a nuclear submarine, which fired missiles and rockets into the sky upon surfacing. Occupants of the island utilized AWM sniper rifles, dozens of rocket-propelled grenades, and other illegal Class 1 and Class 2 firearms. Units were able to storm the island, with the final suspects hiding in a bunker underneath the villa on the island. Upon conclusion of the conflict, more than 50 suspects were detained and charged by the guidelines of the Senate of San Andreas. From those suspects, 29 M70 assault rifles, 25 rocket launchers, 5 Browning high powers, 12 Desert Eagles, 6 Colt Pythons, 3 Glock 18s, 1 wide body, 18 rifle suppressors, and more than 1,900 rifle rounds were seized, in addition to further firearms, weapons attachments, and other miscellaneous objects. The villa itself was found to contain 38 sets of handcuffs, 3 Browning high powers, 1 sawn-off shotgun, 2 Enterprise wide-body 911 handguns, 3 rifle suppressors, a human skull, 1 AWM sniper rifle, and perhaps most importantly, a table containing tools utilized to craft rockets, rocket-propelled grenades, and bombs of varying size, shape, and explosive impact. So we got what we were looking for. Following the conclusion of this conflict, the bench was destroyed, utilizing an explosive crate from the components lying openly upon it. At the conclusion of this conflict, the state of San Andreas had many wounded treated and evacuated by medical staff. 3, unfortunately, did not survive their injuries. Officer Kevin Kate, Deputy Lucy Snow, and Deputy Bobby Balderman succumbed to their injuries in battle. These 3 deputies gave their life in patriotic service of the state they loved. We are proud of them, and you should be proud of them, of their accomplishments, not only through service, but through their character. This conflict arose from a variety of factors. Intel, including information from suspects and confidential informants, as well as information retained over weeks and months of subpoenas, indicating Sanguine Island as a potential source of explosives and narcotics, which were on San Andreas mainland. The Unified Police Department of the state of San Andreas elected to deploy a covert operative to Sanguine Island. Although many have stated this was a violation of the treaty, such covert operations were not specifically included or excluded from the treaty. Although this is an arguable grey area, the state of San Andreas did not violate the treaty simply by attempting to observe what was happening on Sanguine Island. On his first day on the island, the covert operative was sold to members of the Legion of Iniquity by a citizen of the state of San Andreas. That same operative witnessed 2 members of the Unified Police Department visiting on their own accord, forced to fight to the death. The winner of those fights was then shot in the head and dumped in the nearby waters. The same operative, a few days later, witnessed the leader of the Legion of Iniquity, Cain Yeager-Larp, selling car bombs and rocket launchers to known criminal elements of the state of San Andreas. Criminals were witnessed leaving the island with rocket launchers slung over their shoulders. Bombs which were later used in the destruction of police stations, civilian establishments, and domestic terror attacks. Later the same day, other criminal elements of the state of San Andreas arrived and initiated a heroin trade, transporting the heroin back to the state of San Andreas. Only a few miles off the coast, a short boat trip, criminal elements of the state of San Andreas were meeting in broad daylight to exchange explosives, drugs, and people. A signed and sworn statement was written by this operative, and surveillance and intelligence operations intensified. The affidavit is attached here. This operation culminated on August 11th, 2023, when an operative was discovered due, in part, to negligence within the police department. His identity was revealed, and he seemingly defected to the enemy state. A warrant was issued for the operative for crimes he had committed on San Andreas soil prior to his departure, namely the attempted murder of 2 citizens of the state of San Andreas, and members of the Aegis Task Force attempted to extradite him for criminal processing. The Legion of Iniquity refused this demand, violating the treaty between our islands and choosing instead to return him to San Andreas themselves. A series of events led to the termination of our treaty with Sanguine Island, and an intention to negotiate new legislation and new treaties, preventing these atrocities from occurring again. The intention was to have a strong stance against the actions we knew had been committed, not only through our operatives, but through all prior intel. Negotiation terms were strong, some may say demands, and that would be correct. The state of San Andreas demanded terms that would ensure no further drugs or explosives will be trafficked to our shores, and these negotiations went poorly, as many of you know. Judges of the state of San Andreas have spoken out against the conflict in the evenings leading to it, as published in LSBN. Through our own short-sightedness, we elected to not respond to these measures, despite knowing that they were reviewed and ratified by enemies of the state of San Andreas, knowing that the message of Surge Cross was proofread and approved by Terrence Walker, a soldier for the island of Sanguine. Oh, that's not a good look. We also chose to not respond to the message published at a civilian gathering, Windstock, by Georgina Winsong Williams, despite knowing that the origin of this message was Kyle Pred, another militant and self-declared general of Sanguine Island. Kyle Pred, who had previously placed bounties out for the murder of multiple government officials. The government of the state of San Andreas chose to allow these communications to go unchallenged, not only due to the First Amendment rights of expression by our citizens, but to preserve operational integrity, despite clear indication that our citizens and even our own Department of Justice were in direct communication with the individuals who were openly threatening our citizens and our democracy, and who elected to participate in combat today. In the days and hours leading to the conflict, the state of San Andreas provided terms of relinquishment, not just for the island of Sanguine, but for individuals participating in combat. It was suggested to individuals that despite their presence and intent to fight on behalf of the island of Sanguine, their charges would be lessened from treason to mere insurrection, and their properties and assets would remain untouched as a result, lessening their sentences by more than 90%. No individuals responded to this request, choosing bloodshed and violence instead. We certainly could have been more transparent about the events leading to this conflict. However, operational integrity was considered a higher priority to ensure the safety and sanctity of the citizens of the state of San Andreas. To act quickly on the wealth of information and fast pace of the environment we were surrounded by. Put simply, the UPD was not built for this type of conflict, and mistakes were made. Perhaps the biggest was a lack of transparency. Hey, nice, Axel. We are seeking to correct that by releasing some of the information supplied here. We thank everyone who has supported this effort, both abroad and at home, and we ask that you keep our officers, deputies, emergency medical personnel, doctors, correctional officers, and senators and medics, not judges, in your thoughts in the coming days as they recover from this incident. Axel Justice. Do you think Axel wrote that? I do, actually. I do. And I'll say that because there was some, there was some, how do I say this? Not in a bad way. There was just some things that were just slightly wrong. Just there was just some slight bits that were, it was just things that just didn't, I said them right, but they weren't spelt right, or they were like, the English was a little off, So I do actually think Axel wrote that. I'm sure it was proofread. Also, fucking Brian's in a picture in this. Nobody fragged Brian? What the fuck, man? You guys had like 6 hours to kill the guy, and he's there at the end? Jesus Christ. Anyway. Sorry. Well, okay, hold on. Now I've got to fucking catch up on other shit. Right. You go sign on. Get ready. Gabriel, thank you for the 3 months. I appreciate you. Mary, thank you for the 5. I appreciate you too. And Hemjo, thank you for the 8 months. Thanks, guys. I've got keys, but I ain't sign in. Oops. Should probably actually do it, you know? Can't wait for Dark and Pred to talk eventually. Yeah, I think we'll probably have to go up to the prison at some point. I think there could be some good conversations to come out of prison at the minute. Trying to look presentable.